TGIF. It's actually been a long time since I've done this. My normal camera is being borrowed, should I say. Actually, I left it with a friend, but let's just call it borrowing for now. So I'm back to the webcam. I just got back from physical therapy, and I try to make conversation with the ride that drove me there. I just met her. She's a friend of my mom's. And somehow she feels that she can boss me around, or maybe she's bad at being social, I don't know. But I mentioned how I dread going to therapy because of the pain they sometimes put me through. And then I realized I don't even have to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that I shouldn't complain. She took it like, well, I should work. So she said, well, you could vacuum. You could feed the dog. You could blah, blah, blah. I just met her, by the way. If I didn't just say that. And she's already telling me what to do. Incidentally, she's Republican, and she's old. So it's very possible that she's a senile Republican. That makes perfect sense. You can't be lazy around a senile Republican. You can't just... I mean, not that I'm lazy. You can't appear to be lazy, it seems, right? I mean, never mind I have a freaking condition that, impairs my breathing. I should be out in the fields. Speaking of Republicans, last night was the vice presidential debate. I'm not going to comment on it. And for the record, that's not my omission that Palin did well. It's like comparing Kobe Bryant and Ernest from the Ernest movies about basketball. I mean, she did alright. She did par. She didn't make a fool of herself. So I wouldn't say that's a success, necessarily. But that's all I'm going to say. I think it's obvious, who should be running this country. And a lot has happened since I did this. Yesterday, my cat had to be put down. PK, the orange cat. And it's weird how natural selection and karma works, because he's the assertive one. And I generally dislike that with people, when they're assertive and they get into other people's business for purely selfish reasons. That's what he did. He'd get into everything, and he'd eat whatever he wants. Well, the reason he got sick is because he kept eating these philodendrons. And we kept telling him not to eat it, and he even had this little coy trick of sniffing it when we saw it. He ate it when our backs turned. And philodendrons apparently will put crystals on their kidneys that won't go away. And eventually what happened is he developed cancer. And so he had 2 to 6 months to live if we kept him on the regimen that we were doing. And I mean, every night I had to hold him down, his head and his butt, so that my mom could put an IV in for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. He did not like that, and it hurt. I didn't like doing it. He was crying. Cats don't like to be held like that. So that was excruciating, and that would have to be done every night for as little time as he has left. So we figured, we'd put him down, and he's in a better place now. Of course, it was a bit emotional. I try to not make it too emotional, petting him for the last times, because it's pretty weird when your cat is going to be gone from this earth in a day. And he's like my baby. So on a lighter note, something else that has been on my mind, or throwing out things, is the Police Academy movies and their brilliance in writing. Because a movie has to be good in other aspects if a douchebag like Steve Guttenberg is the star of it. I'm sorry. That dude is a freaking tool. I mean, he's really such a dork. And he's supposed to be this cool guy like Matthew Broderick in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. No, he isn't even close. But look at what it had. It had Bubba Smith, tall, silent giant who would flip over a car when someone said the N-word. the Bobcat Goldthwait being stoned out junkie, whatever. I don't know if he was even in the first one. I'm getting this from the first one, where there's the riot in the streets and stuff. No, I mean, I swear, that's a classic movie. And there's a bunch of stuff that keeps going, you know. They always keep you, it's cyclical. And with all the different characters, like Michael Winslow with the sound effects, he, you know, somebody will be walking up the stairs, he'd be following up when the helicopter noise is, hey, you want a lift? No, that's okay. Okay. And he'd go up. And, I mean, and the whole premise is funny. Just bottom line, what I find interesting about this movie is that Steve Guttenberg did not ruin it. And it's actually a classic. Because if you watch it, I mean, compare it to other movies where there's the cool character. He's the least cool of any cool character in film history. And just one more thing, speaking of movies, I realized something about the later made trilogies of Star Wars and why it probably didn't appeal to many audiences as many audiences as the first one. And for a long time I've concluded that they're lacking the Han Solo Chewbacca character. You know, the swag, whatever. I mean, comic relief if anything. But it took me a game where you're a Jedi that I just got. It's called The Force Unleashed. It just came out. That made me realize while I was playing as you could play as Han Solo if you unlock the costume, as it were. That Han Solo is not a Jedi, and he should never be a Jedi. And what I got out of this is the fact that Han Solo made the first made trilogies a lot more human. I don't know a single hero of any significance in the later made movies that were not a Jedi. Can you think of anybody? The only one I know who shoots a gun in those, or anything, are, well, the gun guns, the Jar Jars, you know? Come on, not really. Padme, yeah, and her father, or adopted father, Bail Organa. But really, no one really significant was a hero. There was a villain, there was Jango Fett, but the heroes were Yoda, Anakin, Qui-Gon, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was all Jedi. And Han Solo brought in the human aspect. Han Solo was a normal person. He didn't have any special powers, but he kicked ass. That's the thing. And that's what made it more realistic. Especially a guy like me, who I've said before, I tend to identify with heroes in movies. You can't identify with a Jedi, because there's no such thing as a Jedi. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, because I don't think a lot of people think about that. And it's true if you think about it. So that's it for today. I think it gave you enough, and I'll see you again soon.